Happy Friday.
Happy Friday. It is Friday. Have you hugged your cupcakes or something? I don't know. We're coming up with more T-shirts for the kid.
The food theme was yesterday.
That's
but
true.
That's okay.
But we're
have
back. Much to cover today. Welcome. I'm Bill Griffith.
And I'm Sue Herrera.
Some of the stories we're watching this Friday, September the 29th. Is it the 29th already?
It is the 29th. It's later than it's ever been, as you are so fond of saying.
Yes, I do. The Dow is inching closer. The bogey we're watching now is the previous intraday high of the Dow, which is 11,750. We're in the territory now where if we were to close now, it'd be an all-time closing high, but we're watching 11,750, and we're inching closer to that at this moment.
A lot of people feel that it may happen today because it is not only the end of the week and the end of the month, but it is the end of the quarter. So, given that, we're going to look ahead to the next quarter. We have a panel for you, a bull and a bear. Which way is this upcoming quarter going to go? Because, of course, it includes October.
Oh, yeah, here it comes. Also, Congress is wrapping up before they take the break before the elections in November. We're going to assess what was or was not accomplished during this latest session of Congress coming up a little bit later this hour. First, we start, though, with some breaking news. Something of the unraveling of the ill-fated hedge fund Amaranth. David Faber has these exclusive details for us right now. David?
Thanks, Bill. Amaranth has failed in its attempts to secure working capital and seems
found what would be the previous closing high on the industrial average set in January of 2000 that we were all familiar with at 11,722, up 2.5 points right now at 11,720 and change. The NASDAQ up a point and change. We're having that kind of a day where it's really the major averages hugging the flat line, now at 2271 on the NASDAQ. The S&P at this hour is down just a half a point at 1338. As for energy, an interesting day there. We're going to talk with Dan Yergin about this in a moment. Light sweet crude is down 90 cents. The market's sort of playing a game of chicken with OPEC. There have been rumblings out of OPEC that maybe they would consider production cuts to try and support the price of oil at around $55 or $60 a barrel. It's at 61.83 right now, down 93 cents. Unleaded gasoline down 1.4%. We're at $1.48 a gallon on that contract. And in natural gas territory, it is up 2% so far today at $5.50. To our live team coverage, we'll check in with Scott Wapner at the NASDAQ in a moment. Sharon Epperson will be along from the NYMEX. I owe Rick Santelli a phone call, which I'll get to in a little bit. He's at the Mercantile Exchange in Chicago. Well, let's start with Melissa Lee at the New York Stock Exchange. Melissa?
Hi there, Bill. Right now, 11,721.81. So we are just about 1 point below that record closing high. That, though, is not off the tables, according to traders. This is the last day of the third quarter, and so there's a window dressing going on. We could see a pickup in activity, although so far the volume is pretty light here on this Friday. As for the third quarter, you know, it was a terrific third quarter. In fact, it was the best third quarter since 1995. The concern, though, looking at this record high, record closing high, as well as potentially a record intraday high, is that the fear is that perhaps some of the gains that are traditionally seen in the fourth quarter were borrowed in the third quarter. So what does the fourth quarter hold? Of course, the markets love to look forward. As for what the history books say about whether or not we're going to enter the record books today, well, we did some fact searching, and the last 26 quarters and the last day of the quarter, we've seen a gain on the session just about 25% of the time. What we're seeing in today's market, take a look at the sleeper group. The bank index, it is up just by just a percentage of a fraction of a percent, I should say, but it is at a historic high. These are some of the highs in the bank index. USB, that is a multi-year high. The rest, though, are historic high. For JP Morgan specifically, we should say the Bank of America today talking it up, saying it prefers JP Morgan over Citi, and we are seeing the historic highs set in today's session. And take a look at Hewlett-Packard. Of course, yesterday we heard CEO Mark Hurd testify, and today his report card was pretty fantastic from Wall Street, and we are seeing this stock just fly today. It is the best gainer on the Dow today. Lehman Brothers saying that Hurd will come out of the scandal unscathed. Merrill Lynch also saying that Hurd came out of the testimony pretty well. Let's head down to the NASDAQ markets right now and check in with Scott Wapner. Hi, Scott.
You know, a couple of points here. It has been a nice run for technology. Remember, we wouldn't be having the conversation about the Dow record had technology not been leading the way. I give you a look here at the quarter, and it has been a good quarter. In fact, take a look at some of these numbers of what the NASDAQ has done over the past several months. Up 4% in September. That's following a 4.4% gain in August, up 4.5% for the quarter, and then just about 3% a year to date. Let me talk about some individual stocks that are the headlines today. RIM, big today, up 19%. Preliminary results blowing past expectations. The outlook that was very good as well. Revenues up 34% from a year ago. The outlook's so good because of that new Pearl BlackBerry device. In fact, RIM's co-CEO on the conference call saying, and let's look at this quote, "We believe we may have one of the most successful BlackBerry products ever on our hands." And certainly Wall Street agrees because a number of banks are boosting the target on this stock. RBC Capital all the way up to 140 from 100. When was the last time you saw an upgrade of 40 points on a target? But that's indeed what's happened. Before I get out of here, let me just hit a couple of IPOs today. I'm going to jump around a little bit, but the IPOs are big news today as well. Shutterfly and both Bare Essentials are up big. Shutterfly by 7.5%, and then you see Bare Essentials up just about 28. That's a story here at the NASDAQ. Let's head down to the NYMEX and share numbers.
Well, Scott, a couple of factors are weighing on oil, gasoline, and heating oil futures right now. We have that skepticism over OPEC. What's OPEC going to do?